Yeah, how y'all doing out there in YouTube land? This Stiletto coming at you from the Wild Wild West. Or maybe I should say the stormy, stormy West. Stormy, stormy West. It has been something else out here, people. My neighbor's house, their tree got split in half, and my other neighbor, their branches got all knocked off their trees, and when it was happening, it sounded like a war. Because when the trees break like that, it sounds like an explosion. There's Juno. There's Juno. She's come to join us. How you doing, sweetie? You want to say hi to everybody? You want to say hi to everybody? That's my girl, the Karambit Master. The Karambit Master. That's who she is. She was born with 10 Karambits. All right. Living the Knife Life. Living the Knife Life. This video is for Living the Knife Life. And what he wanted to know was, he wanted me to do a comparison between the Sanmei's, the Sanmei Warcrafts and the Sanmei Magnum. Well, one of these Magnum is a 3V, and my other Magnum is a Sanmei. These are Sanmei, these are Sanmei, and these are my 4034s. And I thought we'd take a look at all of them and sort of have a little discussion on all of them. He was asking me what I would prefer if I actually had to use it for a self-defense situation. So, and my response to him was like, it sort of depends on the situation, whether or not you need a real heavier blade would, benefits you, or a lighter and faster, fast and hand type blade benefits you better. It sort of depends on the situation, really. Because these knives, these are really very different. The Magnum series to me is very different from the Warcraft series. I think of this knife as more like a apocalypse knife, like a survival knife. Kind of like something that you would want if the blank hit the fan. You know what I mean? This is the kind of knife that I think I'd want. I want it because the reason why is because I'd want a full tang knife, full exposed tang. I just have more faith in that because I know even if this handle messes up, I can make another handle if I had to somehow. It'd be easier for me to figure out how to make a handle for that than to make a handle for this. These to me are more like, I don't know, like urban combat, I don't know how, or urban self-defense, or I don't know, like like a home defense or something like that. But I love these, and I think these are the ones that are really fast in hand. And me myself, I can move this in my hand a lot faster than I can a Warcraft. But with the Warcraft, the weight of the Warcraft, it feels like if whatever it comes in contact with, it's going to do more damage to it. Is that a good way to put it? But this, this is pretty, it's pretty wild too. Let's take a look at them. I'm going to set the sheaths aside. Swipe off the blades as we look at them. And this one is I can't tell unless I see the markings. This is a 3V. This is my 3V one. This is the newest one I have, the 3V. The first one I had was a Sanmei. The 3V I think I just got last year. I think I've got recently. This one I've had for a while. This is the Sanmei. And the thickness of these blades is the same. The Warcrafts and the Magnums have the same thickness blades. They're all 5mm. The difference is the width of the blade. The width of the blade is different. But they both have hollow ground blades. They're both, saber. I would call them saber hollow grounds, with the flat ground tip. Beautiful knives. And like I said, these are really fast in hand. And the grip on these is awesome. The grip on these, I don't need to modify this grip at all. This grip feels super, super awesome. Now, I've seen a video with Joe X where he tore one of these up. And what happened is that he broke off the butt cap, or the pommel of the handle, and I guess that's pretty much what holds everything together. And then once that came apart, then the whole handle comes apart. They broke this piece off, and then everything fell apart on it. But you know, this knife wasn't meant to go in combat with a car and bricks and things like that. You know, the stuff that Joe X puts things through. This is a fighting knife. This is meant to fight against, you know, evil people. Anybody that's trying to do you harm. This is a combat blade. This is an urban civilian combat blade, but it's still a combat blade. And it's beautiful. These are absolutely beautiful knives. This one's a San Mai. Yeah, San Mai. I should say San Mai. I'm sorry, people. San Mai. I always say San Mai. This one's a San Mai. And San Mai is it's a VG10 center core, and the outer cores are 420J stainless steel. 420J stainless steel is a super tough stainless steel. It's not a good stainless steel for edge holding. That's why, you know, it's always had a bad, you know, a bad rating or whatever. You know, because as far as the edge holding steel, you know, because it was like popular in the 60s. It was like one of the first stainless steels that came from Japan. 420J, J stands for Japan, I'm pretty sure. And the United States, we had 420HC, or high carbon. That's what like buck knives used. But anyway, the 420J is a real tough stainless steel, and it's super, super rust resistant. It's one of the toughest stainless steels, you know, as far as like impact resistance and everything else. It won't snap. It doesn't snap. It'll tend to bend before it would snap. But the center core of this is VG10. VG10 is a type of stainless steel that's known for edge holding, but it's not a super tough stainless steel. You know, it's tough enough if you're gonna make a knife like this, a San Mai knife, with the outer cores being a really tough stainless steel, and the inner core being a stainless steel that's more known for edge holding, but not necessarily known for its toughness. The outer core is going to give it the toughness. That's the whole purpose of making a San Mai knife. So this knife is not only big and long, or I should call it like a short sword, but it'll hold an edge too. It's extra sharp. That's what's sort of cool about San Mai. 3V will hold an edge too, but I doubt it can get as sharp as like VG10. I'm not a professional edge expert or anything like that. I just know, like, you know, like the new modern stainless steels, even the modern ingot stainless steels are very good. Like 154 cm, you know, even though they have the CPM 154 now, the 154 cm is still an excellent steel. The Swedish Sandvik steel was a 1428 cm. I don't know, whatever. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can never remember all the Swedish numbers. But there's a lot of great stainless steels out there. And then you get into the powdered stainless steels. There's a whole lot of great powdered steels, and they're all about edge holding. Whereas like the original stainless steels were more about being a little bit tougher and not so much edge holding, and being more rust resistant. Absolutely love these, people. These, to me, are designed to be master fighting knives. The Magnum series. These are Lindsey Thompson's babies. I think these were designed to be master fighting knives. These, on the other hand, I think these are meant to be more like a multi-purpose knife. These knives aren't multi-purpose. I wouldn't use these for any kind of wood crafting or any kind of batoning or any kind of stuff like that. These are like daggers. You know, there's more like a singular purpose. It's meant to be a self-defense knife. It's not meant to be a wood crafting knife or a camp knife or anything. It's not meant to be a hunting knife or anything like that. It's not meant to, that's not the purpose of this. This is the purpose to be a fighting knife. This, on the other hand, I think it's meant to be a combat knife, but I think it's meant to be one of those type of combat knives that's sort of good for everything. Sort of like a jack of all trades, but a master of none. That's the way I think of the Warcraft. And the original Warcrafts had 3V semi-stainless, not semi-stainless, but carbon steel. That's sort of considered like a semi-stainless carbon steel. 3V, sort of like D2. And they had a saber flat grind instead of a saber hollow grind like this one. The new Warcrafts have a saber hollow grind with a flat ground tip, which is a traditional Tanto blade from cold steel. They've been doing that. They've been making these types of blades forever. You know, with the hollow ground main part of the blade, and then the tip being flat ground like that, and the saber, and then flat about midway through the blade. This type of blade is super strong. Even though this one has a hollow grind, this one would still be super strong. I think they should have made these personally, because I think the Warcraft is supposed to be a super tough knife that you can use as a camp knife and everything else. And I sort of like it best in the 3V, but I never was able to get one. I never got one of the 12-inch 3V ones. I wish I would have. But I do have the which one I have? I have the 7. I think I have the 7.5-inch one. The 7.5-inch one, and I have the, I think it's a 5.5-inch or 5-inch one. The one that's made in Italy, and I have the one that's made in Taiwan. That's black and DLC coated. I think it's a 7.5-inch blade. It's either 7.5-inch or 9-inch, one of those two. Pretty sure it's a 7.5-inch. I think it is a 7.5-inch because I think I did a video with it comparing it with my other combat blades. It was like the same in the same size category. I also have these in 3V steel. I never got the 12-inch one, but I have all the others. And they have flat ground. They have saber flat ground blades with the flat ground tip. The 3V versions with DLC coating. Those are beautiful blades too. A little bit more heavy duty than these. I still wouldn't use them for camp duties or whatever, because to me that's just not what this knife was designed for. These are the ones that are designed to be able to do everything, I think. If you need be, you could probably use this for batoning through wood. You know, I just get leery about batoning with stainless steel though. That's me. Because everything I've always, read about, stainless steel and stuff, it's not the kind of steel you want to baton with. Because stainless steels are always a little bit more brittle than like a 1095 or 1075 or something like that. So if I'm gonna use a knife for batoning, I would want it to be a 1095 or one of the high carbon steel knives, like at least a 1075 on up to like 1095 or something like that. I would rather have that than a stainless steel knife, even the Sam May stainless steel. Because I think this would be like one of the toughest types of stainless steel knives you can have is a Sam Mai stainless steel knife, as opposed to having it being made like this one. I think this would be tougher than this. And we'll get into that in a minute here. And I love the handles on these. These have a G10 handle. It's a beautifully constructed knife. And like I said, in an end of the world type situation, that's what I got these knives for. These are my apocalypse knives. This is what I would want. And the reason why I like this over like a like a carbon steel knife or a fighting knife is that I don't have to worry about this one getting rusty and rotted on me. I don't have to maintain this one as much as I would have to maintain a carbon steel blade. That's why I like this one. And I know a Mai blade is a super tough stainless steel blade. So you're not gonna get a stainless steel blade that's this long and being as tough as this knife, as tough as this one will be. Because why? Number one, they don't really make 420J stainless steel knives. You know, that'd be the only way that you can get something tougher than this. The whole knife would have to be made out of like 420J stainless steel, which is a real tough stainless steel. Like I said, but it doesn't hold the edge. It doesn't hold the edge very good at all. You think Oz 8 is bad, 420J is like really bad. Oz 8 is like one of the stainless steels that replaced that stainless steel. From Japan, you know, the Japanese stainless steels. But it's good for other things though. 420J is good for liners. Cold Steel uses it for their liners. And it's good for like Mai blades. So it does have its purpose. You know, everything has its purpose. And here's my other one. As you just show you guys one of these at a time. I'll show you all of them. I just want to show you, because I always tell you guys I got two. I just want to show you that I do have two. Two of each one. And the reason why is because I am not a knife fighting master or anything like that, but I've been trying to learn how to dual wield. Just for the kicks of it. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to be, get into combat with knives or whatever. You know, if I'm going to combat, I'm going to use a rifle or something. But, if you have to get that close, you have to get that close. But it wouldn't be my preference to be that close to anybody that's the enemy. A real enemy that, that has weapons also. I'd rather be at a distance with a scope. But anyway, I really like these too because these are a lot lighter than these. These are heavier than these. And they're heavier like about an ounce and a half. I think we weighed them out. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I think it was like about an ounce and a half difference. Or 2 ounces or something like that. But this one, and I think it's because of the handle grips. These are Griv-Ex handle grips, which is like a injected plastic type grip. And those are kind of, the plastic is not as dense as like a G10. G10 is a real dense material. It's almost like steel. It's like super dense. Whereas like this, this type of handle material isn't dense. And that's the reason why it's so light. Out of all the handle materials, probably Griv-Ex is probably one of your lightest ones. Like, lightest Griv-Ex and Zytel, or Grivery and Zytel are like the two lightest handle materials in FRN. The other name for it, FRN or whatever. I love the way this one feels. This one, I didn't like the handles on these because these feel slippery. And so I had to put some tennis grip tape on them. And once you do that, these are easy to handle. They're just as easy to handle as this one. This one still feels a lot lighter in my hand. Still feels a lot lighter. But with the grip on this one, when you use the grip tape on them, it's very good. Let's weigh them out and see what the weight difference is. .40-34. What does it say? 1 pound, 0.7 ounces. So that's 16.7 ounces. 16.7 ounces. 16.7 ounces. The Mai version. 1 pound, 3.4 ounces. So that's 19, right? Yep, 19.4 ounces. And this one is 16.7 ounces. See the weight difference there? The Magnum, 14.3 ounces. 14.3 ounces. That was the San Mai version. The 3V, 14.5. So the 3V is a little bit heavier. But still, 14.5 compared to 19.4 ounces. That's a 5-ounce difference. 5 ounces is a lot of weight when you get into, you know, like moving your hand around. This one is fast, super fast. This one, and see, I'm trying to move it just as fast as I moved the other one. Can you guys tell the difference? And not only that, this one doesn't tire out my wrist. When I do like this with this one, like a chopping motion, my wrist is not feeling stressed at all. And I'm not a super strong person. I would say like I'm an average strength person for my size. I'm not a weightlifter or anything like that. This one doesn't tire me out. This one makes my wrist sore right off the bat. And it's because of all the forward weight, I think, of it. Let's see where the balance point is on this one. See, it's pretty far forward of where the grip is. That's the reason why it feels forward heavy. Let's see where this one is. And this one's about the same point as the other blade. I think it's just because this one's just a lighter knife. Maybe that's what it is. Out of curiosity. Yeah, they're all about this in about the same point, same distance from the grip. That's what I'm talking about. This one feels less stressful on my wrist too. So maybe when you get up to the like 19-ounce range, or like when you start going like over a pound, like over like maybe 17 ounces, maybe that's when it starts feeling stressful to me on my wrist. But there's a way to cure that though, because you could put these grips on this one and wrap them like I did this one, and it would probably be just as light as this one is. But I really like these grips though. I know I'd be tempted to wrap them and then, you know, let you guys know whether or not it feels different. But right now, this one feels like super high quality. I've never used this knife. Feels like super high quality, and I know the construction of it, the San Mai construction that Cold Steel does, that comes out of Seiki, Japan. It's not done in Taiwan. The steel actually comes, the San Mai steel, it comes from Seiki, Japan, but the knives are assembled and put together, and the blades are all finished and everything in Taiwan. So it's still Japanese steel. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Because these knives, all the San Mai knives used to all be made in Seiki, Japan also. But I guess Cold Steel found a way that was more profitable for them to do it. So they started doing it in the way they do it now, that they still do it, where they started having it made in Taiwan. All these are the same thickness. Let me show you that too. But like I said though, if you want one for like a fighting knife, if that's your only purpose for it, I would go with the Magnum. But if you want one for more for like a survival knife, like an apocalypse knife, I would go with the Warcraft. Or if you're a soldier going into combat, I'd rather have the Warcraft. Because that's more like an apocalypse type situation also. Where you're going to need a knife for all sorts of different things. You might need a knife to pry a door open or something like that. You know what I'm saying? For other uses other than what you're supposed to use a knife for. That's what I'm trying to say. This knife to me is like a single purpose knife. This knife is a multi-purpose knife. Boy, that feels heavy. My wrist is sore now. Wait a minute. Oh, okay, I got set. I'm sorry, people. Millimeters, that's what I want. Zeroed out. Okay, here we go. Five millimeters, a little bit over 5 millimeters. That one says 4.9. So these are a little touch thinner, just a touch thinner, but I would still both call them 5 millimeters though. This one's just a little bit under 5 millimeters. This one's a little bit over 5 millimeters. Let's see what this one is. And it's the same size as the Sam Mai. A little bit over 5 millimeters. Excellent blades, people. These are all 12-inch blades. We all know that. They all have saber hollow ground blades with flat ground tips. Like I said, if I'm just picking one just for a fighter, for being the purpose of being a self-defense fighter, I would go with this one all day long. But if I want a heavy-duty apocalypse knife, I would have to go with one of the Warcrafts. And these I got for like $85 or $87 a piece, and these were like $180 or $190 or something like that a piece. And these I got different times. One of them I got for like $199, and I think the other one was like $213 or $212 or something like that. The 3V one was the more expensive one. But I got them both great deals. You know, I got them on sale from different online dealers, stores or whatever, when they have sales. And these are like all mine. All these magnums. All my magnums are from the previous Cold Steel company. I don't have any magnums from the new Cold Steel company. And the way that you can tell the difference is that the new Cold Steel company uses their new labeling. Here's the old labeling, the old Cold Steel labeling. All right, people. That's about all I got to say about these. I absolutely love them all. These are my big blades. These are the biggest. These are the biggest knives that I have. The biggest fixed blade knives, or the 12-inch ones. I don't have any fixed blade knives. Well, yes, I do. But those are like old collectors. Because I have some things that are made by OKC. Back in the, I can't remember which one this one is. I think it's this one. OKC, yep. Made back in the 80s and 90s. And their war knives that they had, the trench knives and the katana and stuff like that. I have those, American-made ones out of 1095. Those are my old apocalypse knives. On these, I always put a little bit of grease. I don't know if you can see that. I always put grease on these too, because these will sort of like rust or rot together, and then when you go to take it apart, the snap will mess up on you. I've had that happen to me before, so that's the reason why I do that. Every sheet that you see that has snaps on it, it's got the additional keeper on it. I put grease on all of them. All right, people. There they are. I highly recommend all these knives. I think they're all great combat knives. But everything I've read about combat knives, you know, because I'm not a combat expert on knives or anything like that. And most of my information is information I gathered from, you know, like the internet or books or magazines or things like that, things I like to read about them. And I've always heard that the best size for the actual fighting knife is in between 6, you want your blade length to be in between 6 and 9 inches for close quarters combat. And that's the reason why they cut down the 1905 bayonet that they used to use in World War I when they adapted it for World War II trench fighting, because they found out the bayonet, it had like a 16-inch blade, and it was way too long to be able to be maneuverable in close quarter combat. And so they chopped the blades down to 10 inches. And what my pops used to always tell me from the Marines in World War II, they used to always tell him that 6 to 9 inches is the ideal size for a fixed blade fighting knife. I know the big knives look, you know, real scary and stuff like that, but if you're in close quarter combat, you know, everything I've read is that you may not want a super long blade because it's hard to maneuver in close quarters. And it's easy for somebody else to grab the blade or something like that. So if you use one of these in self-defense or something like that, you have to be dedicated to really using it. That's the way swords and things were used back in the day. You know, this to me is like a short sword, and so to use something like this, you sort of have to use it like a short sword. You want to have range. You want to have distance. You don't want to be right up on somebody. You want to have somebody at a distance, and keep them at a distance. Don't let them come into your space. What's up, JoJo? What you doing, sweetie? Ready for the video to be over? Huh? You ready for the video to be over? Okay, it's about time for it to be over. Let's say bye to everybody. All right, people, we're signing out. Juno and Stiletto, we're signing out. Peace out.